really at the end of the day, our brain is there. It's constantly asking and answering questions, right? Like that's like thinking is literally the concept of asking and answering your own questions. So the way you're thinking is going to affect the way you're feeling, and the way you're feeling is going to affect the way you're behaving. And your behaviors will identify what actions you're going to take, and those actions are going to create your results. So if you bring it all back, you'll realize that at the root cause of everything and the root creation of everything happens at the level of your mindset. So
Hello, Mary. How are you?
hi, I'm great. How are you, Yair?
I'm doing great. It's an honor to have you on the show today. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. And I'll say I'm not taking it for granted because I know you're busy. So again, thank you. Thank you very much. And I want us to talk about something that is so crucial for life. You know, you coach people also in their business, but it's not only for business, for anything in life. It's
Mhm.
so crucial to have this right mindset because you could go through a certain event and I could go through the same event. But if we have different mindsets, I might take that event and it might take me down because I have had a different mindset going into that. And for
Yeah.
you, it could actually be, you know, something that would lift you up. So I would love to hear more from you. Why do you think mindset is so important? Why do you
Yeah.
think it's something that changes people's lives? And maybe you also have a story from one of your clients.
Yeah. I mean, I really like the concept of mindset, and I really got into the concept of mindset because, well, I struggled, with my own mindset. And, after reflection, after many years of struggle, I realized that the common link between all my life events were a result of having the wrong mindset for me, right? So I think that, the minute I was able to really shift the paradigm on my mindset in trying to understand really the lessons that came out of the struggles, that's the only time that I actually was able to shift my thinking into being able to utilize that information to create changes for my life. So I think that, like you said, like if you were to have a certain mindsets will lead you to make certain choices, right? And they will depend on the way you view the world. That your mindset is more like your paradigm and how you see yourself and how you see others and how you see the world around you. So if you're looking at life from a positive frame, you'll see good in people. You'll see that people are well intentioned, and you'll live life with that filter, right? Whereas if you had that negative, the negative framing around, people are always out to get me, nobody can be trusted, then you're always looking for things in life that are going to prove that right? Because really, at the end of the day, our brain is there. It's constantly asking and answering questions, right? Like that's like thinking is literally the concept of asking and answering your own questions. So the way you're thinking is going to affect the way you're feeling, and the way you're feeling is going to affect the way you're behaving. And your behaviors will identify what actions you're going to take, and those actions are going to create your results. So if you bring it all back, you'll realize that at the root cause of everything and the root creation of everything happens at the level of your mindset. So that having the right mindset is crucial in being able to create the life choices that you want to make for yourself, and building that momentum to be able to get to where you want to go. I think that the mindset is really the fuel that'll get you to where you're going, right?
For sure, for
So
sure.
yeah.
I want to understand, like, if it's okay with you to share, and
Yeah.
whatever, all the things you said now are so beautiful. We're going to go back to a few of them, but before that, you said that like it's not that you were born with this mindset that helps you to grow in life. Like, you said that you had years that you also struggled with that mindset that didn't serve you. Can you
That's
please
right.
share, again, only if you feel comfortable, more of your story? What like inside you, what was your mindset that kind of hold you back or didn't help you to perform better in life?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely felt like I mean, now that I know so much more about mindset, and I studied and researched and wrote a paper about it, now that I've become very immersed in what mindset is and how it can help us, I realize how much of a fixed mindset I had when I was younger, um, feeling like when you see people that are successful around you, you think you have such a separation from people around you because you feel like that'll never be me. I could never do that. I could never achieve that. I'm not smart enough. I don't have anything to share. It's funny, like even just up until a few years ago, I had attended a webinar by like Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, right? I had somehow clicked on something and I got onto the webinar and it was all about, um, how the knowledge economy is exploding and how you can monetize your knowledge, and build a business around what you know to help other people. And I remember, I think I lasted 10 minutes on that webinar and I thought, like, this is not for me. I don't have any knowledge to share. There is nothing that of value that I can put out into the world where someone's going to pay me for it. And I clicked off because I was like,
Wow.
that's not, and that was just a few years ago. That was just a few years ago where I had such a separation between who I was and what I could offer in terms of value and those around me, right? Those mentors that I've been following and learning from. So, and I think I think that by cultivating my mindset, I was able to really close that gap between what I thought I was worthy of and what I thought I could create for others, right? So, I mean, that's something that I think I definitely struggled with, or even like my ability to think that I could learn something, like I pursued my professional coaching certification. My a few years ago, I would have never done it because I would have thought like it's too late for me. I'm too old to pursue this. I already have a career. I don't have the time. I have kids. Like so many things flooded in my head. And it took me a while to even get registered on a program because my mind was creating all these stories for why I couldn't do it. Right? You're not going to be a good mom. You already don't have enough time. You're going to do this program. You're going to neglect your kids. Like all the things that our mind wants to do to us to keep us safe, to keep us in our present story, right? Our mind doesn't want us to get uncomfortable or create a new story because it's completely unfamiliar. And our mind is there to keep us safe, right? And that's the thing. It's all about mindset. So am I going to believe my thoughts? Oh, that's true. I don't have the time. I need to, whatever time I do have, it needs to be with my kids. I'm not going to be a good mother if I do this, right? So it's like, it comes back to the mindset of, am I going to believe these thoughts and I'm going to just stay where I am and stay stagnant? Or am I going to challenge myself, get myself out of my comfort zone and say, hey, you know what? I believe more is possible. I believe I'm capable of doing more, giving more, being more, right? And that comes down to mindset. What is my identity? What is my belief? What do I believe to be true? And to have that mind shift, I think for me was to stop listening to those negative thoughts, those limiting beliefs that kept telling me to stay where I was because that was comfortable. I wasn't happy, but I was comfortable, right? And then to be able to kind of take that leap and say, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. And the way I had my mind shift around, say, my certification program was, if I don't become a coach, if I don't help anyone in the world, I think I'll have helped myself by better understanding who I am. And by understanding the coaching skills, I'm able to help my children as they grow up through life and look to me to provide them with that advice. So if it doesn't benefit anyone but me and my family, then I'm happy. And when I had that shift and like I don't need to think about, well, do I bring value to others? Would others want to have me coach them? Like I didn't have to think outside of myself. If I just think about what are the benefits that it can create for me, and then what are the benefits it'll create for my kids, if I can just get comfortable with the idea that that's good enough, then I can move forward. And that's what I did.
Wow. Well, I'll say the second you create a benefit for you and you're in a better place, you have more well-being. So automatically whoever is surrounding you, they also feel that and they're also, also has an impact on them. And I want to ask you a question, and all what you said is so beautiful. And there's something there that I think is kind of universal. You said after 10 minutes, you you logged out of Dean and Tony, okay?
Yeah.
Now, many times people that would lag out, could be me, could be other people, doesn't matter. It's that feeling that, like you said, like, I'm not like them, we're not good enough. And in your case, I know it's okay, you said that you'll do it for yourself, and then, also might impact your kids and other people around you. But for people that are having, I said that fixed mindset of, I'm not good enough. I forgot who's the one who wrote the book of fixed mindset. She has a really good book. I forgot her.
Carol Dweck.
Carol Dweck, exactly. So she also speaks about that. But I would love to hear from you. Like, what do you think people that feel inside, okay, I want to do this change in life, or I want to change. Maybe I want to stay where I'm right now, but to have a different mindset. But then it comes up, I'm not good enough. So what other tools do you recommend also today for your clients to deal with that feeling that I'm not good enough? So they could do it, she can do it, but me, nah, it's not. I would love to, but I can't. I'm not good enough. So what would you like recommend to people? Which is almost everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all struggle with these types of beliefs. The first place I take people to is really to understand, like, where does this belief really come from? Like, is this your belief, or is this something that someone passed down to you? Did someone make you feel like you weren't good enough, right? Like, sometimes our beliefs aren't even our own. They've just been passed down to us by people who've raised us, friends we've had, interactions that we have had in the world. And also I'll ask people, like, okay, so if this belief was to be true, what's the opposite of that belief? Like, what if this belief wasn't true? What does reality look like for you if this was the opposite? And then they would talk about, well, what the opposite of the belief was, and then I take them to, okay, so if that was true, if the opposite of that belief was true, what's possible? And really get people thinking about what's possible, because I think that we spend so much time thinking about what's not possible, right? Or maybe what we don't want, but we don't spend enough time thinking about what could be possible, getting ourselves out of our history and our memory and into our future and our imagination. When you get people thinking about the future, when you get people imagining things, there's different circuits that are wiring in the brain, right? We're creating new connections, we're creating new memories, new thoughts. So we're very much pattern interrupting. And that's the first place that I'd like to take people to, is, really getting them to interrupt their negative thought patterns and start, neutralizing and thinking about what could happen in the future, what could be possible for them. And, it's funny, because what ends up happening is that there's just this massive shift of energy, right? People are going from low energy, talking about what it is that they can't do or what it is that they don't want, to big energy, into like, oh, wow, I could do this, I'd be able to do that. And then I'd say, okay, what's really stopping you? Like, what's really preventing you? And usually it tends to, if you kind of distill it back down, it comes to, like, lack of belief in themselves, lack of belief in their self-worth. Like, there's something in there that's very internal to them, and that's keeping them stuck in their story, right? So I'll always say, like, what's the story that you keep telling yourself about yourself? For me, it was like, I can't be a coach because, I'm too busy. I'm already spread too thin. I'm already spread too thin. There's no way I can take on something else. And that's what kept me stuck in my story. I can't do it. Limiting beliefs, negative thoughts, right? So what is that story? Because that story needs to shift. But we can't shift the story until we have awareness, right? So the awareness piece is really key. Getting people to understand, like, what's really weighing them down and holding them back in life. And it's really attacking that story and creating a vision for a new story. So that's the first thing, for sure, that I like to dive into with my clients. The second thing is, if we were to take action, what could action look like? Because if we don't have momentum, if we're not taking actions into the life that we're trying to live and lead, then everything stagnates, right? So if you know where you want to go, and you have that vision for yourself, it can be very, very overwhelming, right? Like, I'm here, how do I get to there? It's too much of a leap, right? So trying to get people to commit to really small actions, and then holding them accountable, right? Like, if you're being coached by someone, one of the things that you really want to make sure you have is accountability. Someone who's going to check in with you on a weekly or bi-weekly basis and say, hey, how did things go? Things went well here. How did things go there? Oh, I didn't do anything. Well, that's more information for the coach, right? What's holding you back, or what's keeping you from creating some results in this area? So it's always about really going back and investigating why things are happening or why things are not happening, So yeah, I mean, I think, like, the biggest thing is that I find that people don't really question their thoughts. Like, we have a thought and we believe it, right? Like, it's our thought. Or we have an emotion and we identify with it. And it's like, well, you can't really identify with every single thought and emotion that comes through your mind, right? Like like a thought is just that, it's a thought. You can accept the thought, you can say thank you and let it pass, right? We don't have to hold on to everything that comes in to our minds. So it's really important to be able to have the awareness to understand, like, is this thought in alignment with what I want? Or is this thought really going against what I'm trying to accomplish? And it's to be able to discern between the two, right? And a coach could really help someone be able to discern, like, why are we having this thought? How does this thought serve you? How's it helping you? How's it hindering you? What can we do about it? And I find that, most people who don't have a coach just end up, buying into their stories. And they have such a bigger story to be living and creating. And that story never gets told because, they spent all their time believing in their existing story instead of creating their new story. So yeah, I think that those are some
Wow.
of the areas.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
there's a lot of different ways that you can go, but I think also, like, every
for
client is
sure.
different, right? Like,
That's so right. Every client is different, like all those, 3 steps for all. I never believe in that. I think there are a lot of steps and you could learn from each person, like amazing
yeah,
things, but you need, for each person to have like an individual path for him, for her.
yeah,
And then I think with that, what you just said about the thoughts is so crucial. Like so many, big people talk about whether it's Eckhart Tolle or Michael Singer, we could say many names, but
mhm,
of like not connecting to our thoughts, like not identifying with the thoughts and saying it's us. And I had a coaching client lately, and he said like, yeah, it's nice to say don't connect with my thoughts, but like they come into my head, they're mine. And when you're telling me not to connect with them, it's like it's terrible. Like I can't really do that. And when I try, it never works. So I told him, listen, look, first I told him, like I always say, I'm also a student. It's not that I'm perfect. I'm always trying again. But to all the things that you said, like all the amazing tools you gave until now, and I really recommend people watch them again. You also said like, what's the next step? Always, I think people, when it comes to thoughts, don't think that in 2 seconds, like everything will be amazing and that, you'll be this place that you don't connect to your thoughts.
yeah,
It's a matter of practice. And I always think that that's what I do many times when we have this, reoccurring thoughts. I look at it as a show. So there's a concert, there's a show, those are the thoughts, and I'm the audience. So I come and I watch, but I'm not on the stage. The thoughts are on the stage, okay? And I'm sitting, and then I'll decide to which thoughts I want to connect and to which thoughts I don't want to connect. So I really, I really think it's really, really, really important what you said about the thoughts. Did you
yeah.
did you have clients that you saw that like you really saw that they changed the mindset, not only accountability, like I'm really talking like the way they look at the world, the way they look at their business. Like, did you really see that big change in the business and themselves?
Yeah. I have, like, there are clients that kind of understand, like, once they've really gone into their issues and really uncovered, why are they thinking those thoughts, they start to understand, like, there are roadblocks to their business, and their business is not growing, but not because of, it's not because of external circumstances. I think the nicest thing to see in clients and is when they have that aha moment where it's like, oh, it's not this person or this account or, this circumstance or, like, it's nothing outside of them. And they begin to realize that those hurdles are there because of something that they've created for themselves, where they're not able to see beyond things. Right. And I think that's the nicest thing because it really allows clients to feel more in control of their external circumstances. And that if they make a shift within themselves, there will be a shift in their business and the people that they lead. Right. So it's always nice to see when clients can really come to recognize that they've got these tendencies or these habits that are actually keeping them stuck. And it has to do with their thought process of how they're viewing themselves or they're viewing the problem. And if you just kind of get them to kind of turn the dial a little bit and look at the problem from a different angle, they start to see different solutions. And that's always nice, because really what you want a coach to do is let you see the things that you don't see. And I always tell them, like, it's almost like I'm just holding a flashlight, and I'm making a light on certain areas of your life that maybe have been dimmed. And when you look at that place, you decide if there's anything there that you can use, right? If there's anything there that needs to be uncovered or explored further, there might be or there might not be. But as someone who, like, I consider myself a thought disruptor, like, I'm going to disrupt your thinking. You think that the world is a certain way, and I'm going to come and show you that the world can be in many ways, right? So I'm going to disrupt the way you think so that you can start creating new thoughts and asking yourself different questions, because I want you to start finding different answers and different solutions.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's really nice, because you're helping people that you coach kind of to find their way, I'll say, in themselves. What I mean is basically that I believe each person has, has beauty in them and has like the golden Buddha, like they have gold in them. But many times we cover it with many layers. And what you're doing is basically you're moving everything aside. That way, they could see much more of the beauty and the gold that is in them. And then, like you said, a beautiful thing just, 2 minutes ago, that you get them to realize that the change is something that needs to be inside themselves and not outside. And then when you do that change inside, so like you go into the next level inside and you see more of the beauty. So I think that's really beautiful, the work that you do with people. And like you said, you also help yourself and your family. And that's really, really, really nice. And I appreciate you for that. If people want to contact you, is there a place they could contact you? Do you want me to, I can leave links below?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, they can certainly contact me on social media. My handle is Mindset Mary. I also have a website, mindsetmary.com, that they can contact me. They can book a discovery call if they'd like, and we can have a chat and see if there's, if there's alignment in what I offer and if that would serve them. Yeah, no, that would be great.
That would be beautiful. So we will leave links below. And whoever's listening to this, Mary just now said something really important. If there's alignment, like there are many great coaches, and you need to have alignment with your coach. Like there needs to be some type of chemistry, and that's really, really important to have. So like I said, we would leave the links below, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you for helping people, for helping yourself, your family, the people around you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Yair. Thank you. Take care. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed the video and you got some tools to overcome your challenges and light your path. For us to help other people, please press that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget that the most amazing things in life are the one you take for granted.